Children were starving en masse, and though we had the ability to stop that, we chose not to. We had access to more information than any civilization in human history, and we used it chiefly to quarrel with strangers on small glowing rectangles owned by hairless billionaires who'd discovered that they could monetize human misery, vanity and emotional instability. We had robust scientific data, and we used it to form conspiracy theories, deny climate change and perfect plastic surgery techniques. We built an economic system that prospered from oil spills, war, cancer, drug addiction, gambling addiction, mental health crisis, but we didn't consider human or environmental health. We also invented social media, and it promptly addicted us, surveilled us, radicalised us, destroyed our attention spans, damaged our children psychologically and gave teenagers eating disorders. Every 3 years, millions of people would gather in school halls to perform a sacred ritual. They would vote between a small number of very similar-looking men who would go on to lead the country. Having performed this sacred election ritual, voters would spend the following years ignoring politics entirely while binge-watching reality TV and listening to male podcast hosts discuss protein supplements and whether or not women's rights was ruining civilization. We were the only species that actively debated whether or not we should maintain the environmental conditions necessary for our own continued existence. Ensuring the health of things like the atmosphere and forests and oceans would presumably be an obvious priority for a species that rely entirely on those things to survive. But no, environmental debates became so tedious that by the end of it, even the environmentalists were sick of the environment. Children were starving en masse, and though... I'm good. Children were starving en masse, and though we had the ability to stop that, we chose not to. A very small number of individuals accumulated more wealth than entire nations, and then they used it to purchase yachts, media companies, private space programs, and often just bought the political system itself. Humans are unique, not in the impressive way like an octopus that can change colours, but like a person that clips their toenails on the bus. We have split the atom, we've cracked the genetic code, and we've hurtled expensive metal objects into space. But when it comes to the question of whether we should keep our own planet habitable and our own people alive, we remain curiously undecided. We have turned the simple matter of survival into an endless controversy. There is nothing inevitable about the way that we run our economies or draft our laws or govern our societies. These systems have no independent existence. They exist because we will them to. They are human constructs. Unlike the laws of nature, like gravity, for example, which applies equally to everyone, human-made systems like economics, law and politics are made up and often structured to the advantage of a small and select group of people. And that is why gravity applies to everybody, but tax loopholes do not. We had access to more information